How are we all doing? Pleasure. I wasn't here last week. I was just not doing wonderfully. But I'm back now, so you know what? All is good. All is good. Nevertheless, we are going into our penultimate round of the season. Second to last, and it's a championship night, which just means it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I love a championship night because, importantly, if J-Horse finishes with 10 points more than Rick at the end of this race, he wins the championship. That's all he needs, 10 more points than Rick, and it becomes physically impossible for Rick to catch him, and J-Horse wins. Rick, as of right now, is the only man that theoretically can catch J-Horse. And it's close. It's very close. And you know what? We absolutely love to see it. So let's take a quick look at the driver's standings after Mexico. And this is why J-Horse is on 279 points running into this last race of the season. Rick is on 239 points. There's a 40-point difference between the two. 40 points is equivalent to, if you win the race, next two races, and J-Horse didn't finish at all, you'd win, and you'd win with ease. You'd win with about 15 points spare. If J-Horse finishes 10 points above, in theory, if J-Horse finished at 289, Rick can't win it. If Rick only got 239, because then all of a sudden, it's a 40-point deficit at the moment. So it's going to take a lot. Nevertheless, so here we go. So hang on a minute, I'm just trying to calculate this now. J-Horse needs to be at least 25 points above. Means he can't drop 15 points. So if Rick finishes 15 points ahead, then he wins. I'm pretty certain. Rick needs 15 points on J-Horse. So J-Horse can actually lose points, I'm pretty certain. Is that right? I'm just going to sit here and do this in my head. Whilst we do very nearly get ready to go racing. It's going to be an Aston Martin. I think it's going to be Jimmy. Oh no, it's not. It's Hazard. It's Hazard who's going to be our first man to come across the line with, I'm pretty sure that's Rick just behind him. So very, very close indeed. Alrighty, so a couple of drivers there just behind, getting a little bit tangly as probably some of them are on hot laps, some aren't. Nevertheless, Hazard will be the first man to come across the line and set a time. He'll be the man to put the time on the board. However, importantly as well, just don't invalidate. Abu Dhabi, that's another big point. Abu Dhabi is very, very different to last year's game. This is the first race I've ever had with Abu Dhabi as a round. Even more so, its new format, which is different to say the least. So your first couple of turns absolutely identical, but then that old horrible chicane into the hairpin doesn't exist anymore. In fact, you take the cutoff that used to exist. Oh, Quick Killers was out earlier. He's gone and set a 124. 124.6 to start us off, and Hazard just improving massively then. Just 0.3 up, 124.3. And our Henson going quicker yet again. It's a 124 dead, really, to be honest. So, very good time from him at the moment. Mr. Cookie set a decent time as well. It's half a second off the pace, though. And Rick having not the best of quali laps, to say the very least. He's down in P6 at the moment. So, unfortunate for him. Either way, Scotty's about to come across the line. I believe that's him on a flying lap. He goes across the line. It's P6 for him. And that's the Red Bull just behind. That's Armand Plays. I'm pretty certain he's just gone across the line there. And, oh, look at these Red Bulls now. The Red Bulls had a livery update. And, oh my God, it just looks so much better, doesn't it? So has the Aston Martin, has had a very, very significant update. And it's just so much nicer. And the Red Bull under the darkness is really spectacular to look at. Armand Plays has gone and set the fastest sector one time. And yellow flags in every sector. Don't worry, that doesn't mean a safety car like it does in the race. That just means people are going slowly in every sector. For once, we don't look at that and go mental. Why they changed it from it actually saying safety car and VSC to now just saying triple yellows. Our Blaze has gone and set fastest sector 2 time as well. So as of right now, Armand Blaze on one hell of a lap. Really one hell of a lap. He's just got to absolutely nail these last couple of corners. Also notably, we're in Abu Dhabi, so it's a good chance we're going to be dry weather throughout the weekend, but you never know with the F1 game. You know, it can rain in Bahrain if it wants to. Either way, Arman is about to come across the line, and it's P3 after all of those efforts. 2/10 off of the pace, so quite close. And Bluebird as well, coming onto the scene very, very fast. P1 as of right now, doing absolutely wonderfully. Bluebird, I'm pretty sure, has competed with us before. In Mexico, in fact, he won for Red Bull. So Bluebird is clearly a guy not to be mucked around with, because he's showing some great raw pace in that race that he was just in. And this, of course, is his second race now, I'm pretty sure. I don't think Bluebird raced with us before then. But, quite clearly, someone that can show some of the faster drivers what it's all about, you know. Nevertheless, other drivers on a hot lap at the moment is the man going for the championship today, J Horse. Obviously, he needs to finish 26 points above. No, 27 points, because then that guarantees it. He needs to finish 27 points above Rick to win. Right now, Rick is in P10, 1.2 seconds off the pace. J Horse right now, he didn't go, I'm pretty sure he didn't set the fastest sector 1, but he could have, and I just didn't spot it. Either way, sector 2 is all about your straight line speed. You've got this one heavy braking zone here, and then other than that, it is just straight lining throughout the entire time. That was Mr. Cookie there, just getting out of the way and now just waggling in the back view. So J Horse clearly going very, very fast in sector 2. He's gone and set purple time there. This is his first fast lap as well. He's one of the last people to set a time. And I'm pretty sure Jackalacco has sent in the chat that he has got to go for some reason. That is unfortunate. That's stuff we just don't love to hear. Also, importantly, Alfa Romeo versus Ferrari is still a very big championship fight at the moment. 388 points for Alfa Romeo and 386 for Ferrari. So, very, very important for them. J-Horse showing the sheer speed this guy has is unbelievable. I mean, that is ridiculously fast. He's gone and outdone his teammate by 0.8 of a second, for crying out loud. 0.8 back is our Henson. His current championship rival is 2 seconds off of the pace. 2 seconds. That's ridiculous. Mr. Cookie's done 0.2 faster in sector 1. But he's got to do half a second faster in the next 2 sectors if he wants to catch up. It's just not happening. It's utterly mental speed. But as of right now, Ferrari looking in a wonderful position for constructors, because they're only 2 points down on Alfa Romeo and they're currently sat 1-2 in qualifying. And with the Alfa Romeos at the moment having stinkers of qualifying, Mr. Cookie binning it just to really show off that it hasn't been a good qualifying for Alfa Romeo so far, halfway through, just under halfway through in fact. Mr. Cookie binning the lap there. He'll come into the pit lane just now. Yeah, that is his lap over. So with that in mind, and Aeroblake doing the exact same thing. So a corner to watch out for, because Aeroblake and Mr. Cookie have just gone and done the exact same thing within seconds of each other. Just keep that in mind. Just bear that in mind. Bluebird currently taking interesting track limits. He is on a fast lap, but it's not very fast, so I think he might be abandoning that one. So this is another corner that's changed. You might remember that as a chicane. It's not anymore. It's a nice long left-hander, which just flows so much nicer than it did before. It was absolutely horrible before. It really was. So, done. Our Henson came in after all of that, and Bluebird has just gone and started a fly. So let's see how he can get on, matching up against the time of his teammate. Other than that, most drivers in the pit lane at the moment. Aeroblake out on track, as well as Hazard and Essex Perry. But other than that, Top Man, J Horse, our Henson, Armand Plays, all in the pit lane at the moment. So I don't think they'll really be going for another run other than their final run. I think they're just going to go for 2 qualies and see how it goes. Also, notably, something has changed since the last time I think we raced. Might have been last week that they also did this. The new implementation of varying tyre strategies has been added to the game, and thus the drivers will be using it. Essentially, they can choose how they want their tyres to be. Doesn't make much sense. I'll explain it now. Usually, drivers are set a specific amount of tyres per F1 weekend, like X amount of hards, X amount of mediums, X amount of softs. Whereas now you can change the numbers of them. Not like you can literally, big spin out of the 5 seconds to last corner there, which is going to cause him to come into the pit lane and wasn't going to gain any time from that. So logical from him. That means he's going to be able to get out again as well. That's always lovely to hear. So they can choose between, I'm pretty sure it's just between 3, harder, balanced and softer. So some drivers will have set a harder, they might have lost a soft tyre, that might have become a medium, and they might have an extra hards. A balanced is just the exact same as it's always been, and then softer, you might lose a medium tyre for a soft, you might lose a hard tyre and that might become medium. I don't know the exact what changes, but that's essentially what it is. So some people might be setting up for a strategy which relies on a safety car, might have gone slightly softer set of compound, maybe going for that 1 extra lap in qualifying and then still having a set of softs in the bank. But at the same time, if nothing really happens, they're going to be having to make an extra pit stop because they haven't got the set of hard tyres to run. You know, they might set the hard tyres early on in the race, it all goes wrong, and then they have an absolutely terrible good race because they don't have another set of hards to go on to. Or maybe they're running out of mediums, whereas on the hard set of compounds you don't get as much qualifying time, and you know, if there's a late safety car, you're going to be on used tyres from quali, and you know, you've got all these things to factor in, and you kind of just got to take a massive gamble on whatever decision you make, or you go with balance and be pretty secure. Mr. Cookie's gone and set fastest sector 2. Only problem is sector 2 isn't one that you can particularly gain or lose a lot of time on. Sector 2 is mainly whoever's going to have the least amount of downforce on is going to be fastest in Sector 2. I think Mr. Cookie won't make it round if he does this lap. It's going to be very, very tight if he tries it. He might just have to push. It's a big lap. Oh, that's a big lap from Cookie. Moves him up to P2 from P6. That's very, very important for him. Though you'll see right now the time intervals. P5, a second off the pace, and it wouldn't be that bad. He would be half a second off the pace if J-Horse wasn't here. Because right now J-Horse is just looking truly and utterly phenomenal. Rick down in 11th place needs to gain 14 points. He needs to get 14 points more than J-Horse this race to stay within a shout. All J-Horse has to do, in simple terms, is finish above him. He can finish below quite happily. He'd have to finish out of the point, and Rick finished like third, unless we've got a slight change set of rules, because I'm not quite sure how their maths was adding up. They said that J-Horse needs to score 10 more points. How? I'm not that sure, unless we have a slightly different setup for the last race. I can't actually remember whether that's the case or not. Nevertheless, here we go. J-Horse is coming out. Mr. Cookie is still out at the moment. Armin plays out. R. Henson is out on a lap at the moment. Just starting Sector 2. Oh, Henson, look at this slipstream he'd have been getting off of that Aston Martin. That'd have helped a little bit to keep him within this lap. In other news, most drivers now out on out laps. Looking for a nice close qualifying. We love a close qualifying is the best, without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, hello boys. I don't know how long ago you sent those messages, but hi. Oh my god, we're playing F1 2014. According to the description, that is hilarious. F1 2014. Rick has forgotten to go out, ladies and gentlemen. Rick has forgotten to go out. Oh my god. Rick is going to start from, well, as right now, P11. In other news, most of the drivers just starting their laps. J-Horse not having the best of starts in Sector 1. Bluebird just beginning his lap as well. And our Henson is on a cruiser. Armor Plays also just starting a lap 9,000ths of a second faster. Rick saying, I mean, I wasn't winning anyways. You know, not getting pole. I mean, it would be difficult. J-Horse has really shown a bit of pace here, as he is now running well and truly into the end of Sector 2 here. He's very much down on his time. Nearly, yeah, my goodness, just over a tenth and a half now. So I think that's, yeah, Rick's just having fun now. I think this is, unless Rick can pull an absolute madness out of the hat and something goes terribly, terribly wrong for the Ferrari, I think the championship might just be over. J-Horse comes across the line now. Is it faster? No, it's not. But as of right now, it's good enough for pole, considering Bluebirds is invalidated. And Armin Plays is up on his time, but he's just under 3/10. And it's going to be enough for P2, because my goodness, what a final sector. Jesus Christ. Armand Plays moves up to P2 after that. 7 tenths faster than his time earlier. That was an outrageously quick lap. And that's qualifying done. I was expecting him to go up to maybe P4. P3 at a push. No, P2. Wow, that's a good run. Very, very impressive. But ladies and gentlemen, there is your qualifying order. As we get ourselves ready to go into the race. Jackalacco not completing a time either. Peculiar. Nevertheless, race El Finito'd. And there we go, J-Horse on pole position. That's something we're definitely not used to whatsoever. Armand Plays in P2 and Mr. Cookie P3, Bluebird P4 and our Henson P5, Hazard in P6, Quick Killers P7 and Aeroblake in P8, Smithy in P9 and Scotty in P10 with Simon Barsafan in P11 and Rick in P12, Jimmy Jags in P13 and SX Perry in P14, as well as Jackalacco rounding out the pack in P15 to finish off our race. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, and you are part of BRL, we have already gotten underway with our track selection for next year. And lots of votes coming in already. Quite a few people voting away. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going. Interestingly, some races definitely doing better than others at the moment. Considerably. Great Britain and Brazil, 15 and 17 votes. As well as Austria with 16. Australia with 14. And Azerbaijan with 13 as some of the best. Nevertheless, we get going in the deteriorating sun on our outlap today, as that is Bluebird hanging very slowly around the first couple of corners. I think he just got underway a little bit quick. Either way, strategy is going to be pretty similar as it always is, with J-Horse and Armand deciding to start on the hard tyres with everybody else behind to Aeroblake starting on the mediums. So, yeah, pretty much it's all mediums hard. No one's decided to go for the soft tyre compound, which is the correct decision, I can't lie. It's just not the way to go, is it? Let's say. What would you say? Hungaroring, Suzuka, Zandvoort, Yasmarina, Kota. I'm going to go with... I love the Hungaroring, and I think it's a great one to chat over. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Suzuka, because it's always funny watching people spin at the S's. And Kota. I like Kota. Monza, Red Bull Ring, Bahrain, Mexico, Imola. Ooh, that's a difficult one. Obviously Monza. Monza's always a good one to go for. Mexico. I like Mexico. Imola. Either way, I think we're very nearly about to get underway. Oh, he's got a couple of more corners to go. What else have we got? Australia, China, Canada, Portugal. I'm going to go with Portugal, Canada. I like Canada and Australia. I'm not a fan of the China circuit. And we're going to have to wait for the last one because we are about to get ourselves underway. Big lean there by Arman. If you just noticed, he's very curved in, as well as Bluebird. Either way, we go. 4 and 5. Red lights for Abu Dhabi. We are away. And J-Horse, as per usual, with an absolutely wondrous start. Mr. Cookie as well, showing off just how good a race starts he can be. He moves up into second place almost instantly. Arman having to defend massively against Bluebird, who's had to defend massively against our Henson, but he's managed to keep his position. And that is a couple of drivers. Oh, there's 2 gone. That's Scotty and Aeroblake, I'm pretty certain. Yes, it is. There's a Ferrari having to defend massively here right now against Arman. Just about holding off nicely there, but I don't think Arman is going to be too happy with that one. He's going to have to switch back to the left-hand side. Bluebird's got to stay there, but no, he does tuck in. He's perfectly in his right to do that. No defence really needed as the Aston Martin here under a lot of pressure from the Haas as he runs a little bit wide there. That's going to be a nice little fight into the next corner. Aston Martin staying in front for now, and yes, Hazard does keep the position after that is all said and done. Nevertheless, Rick moves up to P9, but it's not looking good right now, is it? It just really isn't. Alrighty, so J-Horse unsurprisingly setting the fastest lap. That is just simply due to him being at the front of the grid, first man to cross the line, so in theory he must take fastest lap. It's physically impossible for anybody else to. Other than that, it's quieting down very quickly on track. Quicklers and Arman plays right now, having a nice little fight. Quicklers has got such amazing slipstream here. He's going to dip to the inside. They're going to go side by side in. Williams really trying to push to the outside as much as possible there, leaving Arman absolutely no space. But the Williams does get past. Continuing down the back straight now, I don't think Arman's really going to have an opportunity to fight back. No, he's not. Other than that, it has gotten very quiet very quickly, with drivers spacing out almost instantly. Right now, this is the closest fight we have on the grid. Smithy and Hazard, the Haas and our Aston Martin, that were going with each other not that long ago, if you do recall. But no, these two drivers, the closest anybody else is on track. But DRS now open. Hopefully that should cause a little more problems for drivers in front. Mr. Cookie just losing out that second mark now to J-Horse, so possibly no DRS on this back straight. And oh, that's Bluebird that spun round there. Oh, that's unfortunate for that Ferrari, which puts, I'm pretty certain, no, that Ferrari is still in the much better position here, as Rick has fallen down to P12. After that, the Aston Martin isn't going to have any sort of DRS whatsoever, though it's just going to be enough for Smithy to catch up. Nevertheless, it's still a good opportunity now to get past on the second half of this straight. Unfortunately, it doesn't run all as one. It's just far too long of a straight for it to run all as one. You just can't. They'll be just maxing out by halfway through. They're nearly maxing out when they hit the braking zone, so it doesn't really make any logical sense to have that as a full straight. Just doesn't particularly work. And that is Quick Killers doing the exact same thing that we have seen time and time again. So that corner already got a bit of a name for itself, hasn't it? In fact, Chaos Corner. And that is a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. That is Scotty, stopped on track. He's moving again now. As of right now, no DNFs. All 15 drivers still participating, even if it's immensely spread out, and that was so close. But quick killers, wingless. Oh dear, it is now a minute gap already. That is quite phenomenal, isn't it? Anyway, our Henson and SX Perry, good little fight happening here. Our Henson's going to tuck it to the inside. Can he get better traction on exit? Who has DRS? It's not our Henson that has DRS. Oh, it is. We just hadn't quite hit the DRS zone yet. Our Henson still very, very close on the back. He's going to have to switch to the inside if he wants to get the move made, but he doesn't go for it. Maybe just setting it up for this corner here. It's a much better, it's quite a good exit. It would have been, but SX Perry just kind of got in the way a little bit. You know, looks slightly ahead. Bluebird just going to set the fastest sector 2 time. Absolutely rapid with the wing wide open. Same with, I'm pretty sure, oh, our Henson didn't quite grab it, but our Henson now right on the back, and he ought to just get rid of that there to see. He's going to have to go round the outside here if he wants to get this move done. Doesn't quite pull it off. SX Perry doing great defending at the moment to keep the Williams at bay, though a little mess up for SX has managed to allow our Henson to get through, and what a clean overtake it was. Jobs a good one for him. All done and dusted with that fight now. Looking slightly ahead to the next 2 cars. They're also running in tandem. This is Bluebird and Simon Bosfan, the 2 closest drivers on the grid, and with a slightly wide corner there for Simon Bosfan, could completely open the door for Bluebird, who's going to switch to the inside of the track. He's not going to go for it, but you can see he goes a little wider. He's going to have a slightly better exit. He does get the better exit, and he's going to get his DRS wide open now. I think this could be a move on for Bluebird. It was a great little setup for the move, and you can see Bluebird, he's going to have to switch to the outside if he wants to get the move done. He can't quite pull it off. Simon Bosfan just holding him up nicely, but great little positioning on the track for an optimal exit. He's just not quite fast enough through 5th. I don't think that wasn't really the best of accelerations on the planet, but he set up the car really nicely there. It's just a shame he hasn't quite got the pace to get it fully done, but you can clearly see Bluebird keeps going for that later apex and that better running out of the corner to try and get him down a bit. One of these little straights here, but he just can't quite do it, can he? I don't know whether Bluebird naturally likes to go for a later apex, but he's clearly showing that to be the case as he turns those 2 corners into one nicely. Unfortunately, Simon Bosfan just slightly held him up through that final corner there. He had to lift a tiny little bit, but I can see Bluebird getting past very, very soon. He's still right on the back of this Alpine here, and this Alpine it's not got a whole lot of respite, has he? As Rick is now at the back of the grid after pitting and just overtaking Scotty there. So obviously damage for Rick, never good, never what you want to see. Let's be totally honest, it's the last thing you want. So it's going to be the Haas that's going to go for a move. No, didn't quite pull it off. Bluebird, can he get the... Once again, these 2 drivers now, Smithy, desperate to get past, and Bluebird also desperate to get past. We'll keep watching on with Smithy, as he's going to be, if anybody's going to make a move, it'll be the first to do it, though he's not going to go for it. The Ferrari is down the inside, bit of contact made, a little bit more contact made, but Ferrari is passed finally. Whether there'll be a penalty involved or not, I'm not too sure. I don't know whether there was enough contact to really deduce a penalty. It's a bit difficult, and spin there for Simon Bosfan, doing what a lot of drivers have done today and spinning it round at that very corner. It's a corner that not many people are liking at the moment, I don't think, and Bluebird now rapidly catching up to the back of these guys. Smithy and Hazard have almost been instantly caught by Bluebird now that he's finally managed to get past. We got a yellow flag in sector 3. I'm pretty sure that's Aeroblake going... Oh no, is it? I'm not sure. One of... I think that's... Yeah, it's either Aeroblake or Rick going slowly. One or the other. Nevertheless, we got a little bit of a DRS train going now, as Smithy, I think, might just be able to have a good enough run. He is going to switch to the inside. He had a little look. Didn't quite pull it off, though. I think there's just not quite enough space to be able to pull that one out the bag. Nevertheless, another straight to go. Smithy looking in a very good position to go for a move here. He's going to run very, very wide, right round the outside here. That's completely opened the door for Bluebird to possibly get past the Aston Martin as well. Smithy, that's an absolutely wonderful move if he's able to pull it off down the inside here. Yes, he is. That is an amazing overtake. That's properly impressive. He's running right round the outside of that long left-hander, and he's pulled it off. The traction is unbelievable in the back of that hat at the moment. My goodness, that is one hell of an overtake. Very, very impressive indeed. Nevertheless, no. Now up to the Aston Martin to pretty much dictate what happens here, as Smithy has managed to break free of these guys a little bit, 6/10 to the 2/10. You can quite clearly, quite evidently see the Aston Martin, possibly the slower driver of the lot here. However, nevertheless, contact made, I'm pretty certain. That didn't seem like that much of a spin, to be honest. Seemed a little bit too early in the corner, and yes, quite evidently a spin. Bluebird giving that position back instantaneously. Smithy, though, can be nothing but joyous for that occurring. He's managed to pull 2.5 seconds because of it. So, all of a sudden, a 3-man race has become 2, with Smithy practically running away with this at the moment. Bluebird, though, clearly showing that he has pace already at the start of this race, and catching up to these guys within a lap shows that he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to get past people. If he gets past the Aston Martin, a bit of clean air could be catching up. I mean, they've already caught half a second to Smithy already, and that time is just ticking down very, very quickly. But I mean, other than that, it is unfortunate that that little bit of contact was made there. Quick Killers and Jackalacko having a little fight here with Jimmy Jags just in front. Quick Killers soaring one out the outside. This is basically what Smithy did as well, but unsuccessful this time. He couldn't quite get the exit speed that Smithy did. So Jimmy Jags remains leader in this race, in that little battle and that little fight at the moment. Bluebird, great little run at the moment. Is he going to possibly put on the pressure? I think so. He's put on a little bit of pressure there, just to warn the Aston Martin that he's going to go for something soon. Let's see, DRS wide open now with ERS pumping through his veins. He's realised it's just a little bit too much of a distance to get a move done. Possibly going to wait for the long left-hander. It's a good opportunity to get a move done. Our Henson as well, rapidly catching up to the back of these guys. He's now 1.2 seconds off the back of Bluebird. So you can see him there just at the back. Nevertheless, Bluebird is going to go for the move. He's going to have to go round the outside if he wants to get it done. The Aston Martin defending nicely here. Bluebird does have the better round the corner, but oh, big spin there. And that takes away pretty much his whole front wing. Bluebird missing quite a lot of his car now, and I think that might also be the case for the Aston Martin, although whether the Aston Martin's got more problems than Bluebird, I'm not too sure. Yeah, the Aston Martin doesn't have a front wing, so in comes Hazard, in comes Bluebird, both have to pit. Bluebird has managed to just sneak around past him though. Impressive stuff nevertheless. He has managed to have that collision with the wall, and he's gotten past the man he had the collision with. That is a car going slowly, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I think it might even be a car stopped. It is, it's Scotty. Scotty stopped on track sector 1. Let's see just about where is he stopped. It's in a moderately safe position. No safe car will occur. Alrighty, so after 10 laps of racing so far, we're a third of the way through. Okay, so Hazard at the moment closest to the back of Quick Killers. This should be quite a good race actually. Quick Killers and Hazard doing pretty well at the moment. Okay, it's not optimal positions, but that's primarily due to misfortune. Both drivers were running decently. Looking at drivers' standings, I'm pretty sure Hazard is ahead of Quick Killers. Yes, by... Oh, that's a considerable... That's a lot more points than I thought it was. I thought they were quite close together, but Hazard's on 165 and Quick Killer is on 82. I thought that was a lot closer. Also, Jimmy Jags is on 100 points. Yeah, I know. That's amazing. Jimmy Jags is on 100 points. Oh my god, I forget. We have a ever so slightly different championship. We go down to P13, don't we? Yes. Oh. We do the whole grid. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Hazard just still not quite able to get past. Joe Horse on 26 points. Rick got 25 there. And then Bluebird got 27. Oh, I think he got pole as well. That'll be why. That will be why. And oh, who's that going? Sorry, that's SX Perry off of the track. Well, I don't know what's quite happened to him or whatever's happened there, but something has clearly. Mr. Cookie just leaving the pit lane now on fresh hard tyres. So he's hoping to go to the very end of the race now on those tyres. Alrighty, so it's rather quiet out on track, isn't it? I mean, Henson's fight right now, it's 1.1 second. I mean, this is still, without a shadow of a doubt, the closest of fights. Hazard versus Quick Killers. And in goes Smithy and Henson. So, strategy beginning to occur, I'm pretty certain, for the medium boys. Understandably, I mean, the medium tyres are going to just start beginning to wear, possibly. Hard tyres should be okay for a couple more laps. We've got 29 laps of racing, so 30 laps of racing. No, 29. No, you do get 29 because you do all of lap 29, but you start on lap 1, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just shifted one up. It's a bit confusing, but there we go. Because it's 1, you think, oh, we only got 28 laps to go, but you forget to include lap 29. So, start at lap 15. No, halfway through lap 14 is obviously the halfway mark. Nevertheless, keep that in mind as we are just coming up to the halfway point, and Hazard is just now launching one up the inside of Henson. Getting the job done nicely there. Impressive stuff. Decent lap there for him. And he's now immediately back under fire by Quick Killers, who's launched one round him. And I feel like that's happened before because that seems so perfectly orchestrated. Mr. Cookie goes and sets the fastest time of the race so far, 127.6 for the Alfa Romeo team, who Currently have Mr. Cookie in P3 and Rick in P13. So 10 places apart, those two drivers. Unfortunately for them, J-Horse and Bluebird just 4 places apart in 1st and 5th. Nevertheless, we do have... This is still, other than... Oh, there's a couple of drivers at the back here. One of which being Jimmy Jag. So yeah, here Rick and Aero Blake at the back of the grid as well. We'll keep watching these guys though. These are technically further up the race, so you've kind of got to favour them, if you know what I mean. Simon Barsfam right now trying to go as long as possible on these medium tyres. It's on 13 lap old mediums now. The oldest of any medium tyre that's currently being run in this race. Most drivers kind of came off on 12 lap olds, sort of on lap 13. A couple more drivers gave it an extra lap, but no, it's most drivers are well and truly off of the medium tyres right now, and we're nearly all running hards. That won't be the case for long, because then all the people that started on hards will be changing to mediums sooner or later. They'll probably be changing about lap 16, 17. That's probably optimal time to change. Nevertheless, as of right now, Quick Killers still running in front. As these two drivers still not budging one bit. Also importantly, our Henson and Smithy are now engaging in a bit of a fight. That's beginning to go down now. I think that's primarily due to pit stops, is it? Yes, it is. Both drivers pitted at the same time, so they must have been close together to begin with. As well as Bluebird catching up to the back of Simon Barsfam, which shouldn't be too much of a challenge for Bluebird, considering he's on much fresher tyres, but he's on firmer tyres. So it's interesting to see how that one comes along. Bluebird right now just chilling behind, and let's see here. Can our Henson go for a move? He is going to go for one. It's going to be a launch down the inside here. Our Henson, can he get better on brakes? He's not quite outbraked him, but with a slight outside, he might get DRS. I'm not too sure. I don't think so. Our Henson will run DRS-less, as also at the same time, Bluebird gets a move done round the outside before they hit the braking zone, just leaving the Alpine a little bit of space there. Closes it off in the second half of the long right-hander. Our Henson still manages to secure that position. Other than that, Quick Killers as it a wall, so that means Hazard automatically moves up that place. No problems whatsoever, as our Henson obviously has had a problem here, and as all of a sudden, oh, what's our Henson done? Yeah, okay, it's no damage because he stayed out, but obviously our Henson's had a problem, and that's forced him 3 seconds down to Simon Barsfam. And SX Perry there getting past Aero Blake, who's going rather slowly. Possibly coming into the pit lane. Yes, there he goes. So, well and truly halfway into this race now. Medium boys on 15 lap old hards, and Simon Barsfam just keeps trudging along. The guy is staying in it, you know. He don't want to give up the medium tyres, but there comes to a point where a fresh set of hards is faster. It's just how long will that be until that is the case. And that is triple yellows across the grid, but it's only a virtual safety car, and that allows Arm and Plays to come into the pit.